film we're about to watch was voted the worst of the year, 1981, then of the entire decade. Faye Dunaway got the worst actress honour and went a bit bonkers afterwards. Diana Scarwood matched this achievement with worst supporting actress, and Frank Perry, Steve Forrest and Frank Yoblins completed the full house with worst director, actor and producer. But we at Moviedrome think there's something special about it. The film's based on the most influential Hollywood memoir ever published, Mommie, Dearest, by the very lovely Christina Crawford, daughter of Joan. Joan Crawford was the diminutive, self-styled Queen of Hollywood. After escaping an abusive Texan family, she became a dancer, reputedly a prostitute and naked model, before bulldozing her way into the movies. Her name was chosen by a magazine poll. She was one of the MGM's biggest stars by the late 20s, received her 900,000th fan letter by 1938, was considered box office poison by the early 40s and dumped by the studio. She came back in 1945 with an Oscar to boot as Mildred Pierce. By the 50s, she had to have 3 vodkas just to come out of the dressing room. She was bisexual, and her lovers included Henry Fonda, Clark Gable, Cary Grant, Rock Hudson, an interesting pairing if ever there was one, and Barbara Stanwyck. Crawford's daughter, Christina's portrayal of her mom as a sadistic drunk was one of the very first modern revenge memoirs, a high literary genre whose most recent edition is Margaret Cook's assessment of her Foreign Secretary husband, Robin. What's great about these books, and Christina's in particular, and its film version, is how their revenge often backfires, even when you're married to the exec producer, as Christina was to David Koons. Mommie, Dearest, the movie, portrays poor old victimized Christina with such manifest awfulness and spectacular unbelievability that in minutes you're rooting for Joan, the beast. The film is shallow about shallowness, an unintentionally joyful thing about joylessness and puritanism. Joan's yelling of the line, "Tina, bring me the axe," is surely one of the funniest ever delivered. As with Rocky Horror Picture Show, Mommie, Dearest has become an excuse for sublime audience participation. New Yorkers bring axes to the cinema and swing them on cue. The famous scene involves coat hangers. By this stage, the film swung into a kind of uncontrolled frenzy. Faye Dunaway actually goes out of focus. The mix of sadism, melodrama, brilliant performance, and absolute daffiness is almost unique. We are, of course, in the arena of high camp here, and camp is a cornerstone of cult movies, going against the grain, hating the cute girl, loving the monster. Scorsese's Raging Bull shows how well a biographical film can portray real self-hatred, but Mommie, Dearest doesn't scald you. There's nothing in it to touch Jake LaMotta's prison cell scene. About halfway through this picture, Dunaway as Crawford acts out a scene from Mildred Pierce. It's also, fascinatingly, about a hateful daughter and her psychic bond with her mother. If you've never seen it, you absolutely must. And one last irony, in the mid-80s, Christina Crawford became the Los Angeles Commissioner for Children's Services. And look out for Marlon Brando's dead spit of a sister, Jocelyn, as Barbara Bennett, the showbiz journalist.